business from all kinds of different perspectives in this new economy post-COVID-19 that we're set in here in May of 2020. And what we mean by safeguarding your business as a fellow business owner has to do with 5 different key points. First, cash flow and profitability. Second, organizational culture and your employees, your biggest asset. Third, all your other assets and liabilities. Fourth, information, data, your whole network, processes. And 5, how you're structured. Now, I'm a sales and marketing guy who's owned very successful businesses, done really well, but I'm not an accountant and I'm not an attorney. So I'm not giving you financial advice. I'm not giving you legal advice. And I'm going to today give you very, very little sales and marketing advice. So we're just going to have a conversation here, thoughts about some questions that were given to me to talk about 101, basic safeguarding a business. As many that are out there as business owners today have never been in the environment we're ready to head into. Okay? So first, cash flow and profitability. Good times, bad times, profit is what enables a business to accelerate growth, increase your ability to serve a customer, invest in hard assets when they're at reduced prices, have solid employee benefits, and spoil your customers with excessive service, with gifts, and just overall great customer service. But unusual times, right? So the pandemic is going to be disruptive to a lot of this. But you have to keep money coming in if you want to keep your business going, and you have to be profitable in order to acquire other businesses or other assets in order to grab market share. You have to be able to contact your customers and spoil them with all the issues they have. So while we're experiencing at this moment some drop-offs in employment on a massive scale, never seen in my lifetime, probably not yours, revenue is a lagging indicator, as we've talked about in previous sessions like this. So, as a fellow business owner here at Viral Solutions, it would be wise to be contacting your customers and working in those questions on how's their business doing, how's their revenue going, do they see any fall-offs, and you're trying to find out if they're going to be paying you on time. Because you've got to be able to plan months ahead for how that's going to impact cash flow. Delicate conversation, very wise to have. Because potential business slowdown might require you to tap into such financial resources. And the better you look profitably, cash flow wise, the easier it is to tap into those. I mean, the age-old saying that people that probably don't need it have the best access to the resources. So make sure you're one of those. Take a look at the current income of your business, the financial obligations that you have, and what your liquidity levels are. And when things get tough, you got to consider making tough decisions. There's also resources from the Small Business Administration and our friends over at the Small Business Doctor. They got ties in with dozens of banks, and they can really help you out. So in this scenario, have that all ready, have it all in great shape, be a miser with your profitability, but have backup resources. That's the greatest way, rule 1, to safeguard your business. So let's talk about organizational culture and your employees. Well, during a booming economy, your culture and your compensation package is what attracts and enables you to keep the best and the brightest people. And during an economy where there's high employment, the business has to leverage those expenditures and that culture and that environment and those benefits. I mean, that's what keeps people in there when you're cool. Now, when the tables flip and we got 30 million people unemployed, you've got to continue to look at your employee relationships and culture in the same vein. But you've also got to safeguard yourself for potentially being able to acquire other employees that may not have come to your organization before, but they're unemployed. Okay? So that talent pool about 6 months ago was almost impossible to tap into. So this is basic 101 of protecting your company. Knowing that in tough times, the really profitable companies are the people who can hire and increase their capacity, their ability to take on more with key talent that's probably unemployed. Now, with all of that said, there's national policies and guidelines out there by the CDC that you also need to take in mind in your business to safeguard it at the 101 level. And that is, make sure you're taking a look at your sick leave policies and that's consistent with today's public health guidance. Maintain flexible policies. Permit employees to stay home, especially if they've got a sick family member. Just don't even invite that into your environment. Review all those human resource policies to make sure that you're in alignment with today's public health advisory. Okay? Doesn't mean it's law, so on and so forth. Just wise moves to make for your organizational culture. And determine how you're going to operate if absenteeism spikes. So try and envision losing certain people and how you're going to adjust. That's key to your survivals, being able to be agile, flexible, and the key word today with pivot. That means over the next several months, as things start to soften up and this economy starts to grind down, because that's what's going to happen with 30 million people unemployed. We can only print money so fast. You've got to cross-train your employees to make sure that they can do other jobs, perform essential functions so that the workplace can operate even if a key employee is absent. That's our view of what it takes to safeguard your business 101 at the organizational, employee, and cultural level. Number 3, assets and liabilities. If you've got a physical building or a location, a major asset, yes, it's about location for more reasons than just value and foot traffic, but also in this environment, it's about safety. Okay? We're talking about having a building that's safe, that's well protected for the employees, yourself, your assets from break-ins and robberies. If you don't have that, I would keep your eye out on a building to move into that has that you might be able to acquire at a really good price in this environment. So your personal safety and theft deterrence is kind of what we're talking about here. Some other things to consider when we talk about assets and liabilities are, do you have everything well protected, such as trademarks, patents, copyrights, documenting your ownership and legal protection for all of your ideas and your intellectual property? Do you have that all in place? You know, trademarks, there's kind of some confusion out there. So trademarks, we're talking about things that protect a brand name, a logo, a slogan on your goods and services. A copyright would be something that protects artistic or literary works. And a patent is something that protects some type of an invention. So trademarks is what most of us, we don't usually think about those when it comes to our name and our brand and our slogans and what we do. And in these environments, you usually get people that are a little shady and trying to take business off of your name and your brand. Make sure you got that protected. Information, data, networking. Here we're talking about a lot of people who have accumulated a beautiful website. They've got a massive database. They've done a really good job in e-commerce. They've grown with employees, and you have a lot of this stuff in the cloud, which is typically very well protected. Just make sure it is. Make sure you're dealing with great companies that do all of that correctly. Okay? We've never had a client broken into in the last 9 years. So I think we do a good job at that. And some of the things that we've taken extra precautions and step with our customers and ourselves is we've advised those to make sure they redo passwords and get them to be alphanumeric special character, at least 12 characters in length, and not contain any phone numbers, date of birth, names, anything like that. Okay? Good, strong passwords. We like a piece of software called LastPass that keeps all of that straight. I'd highly recommend it. Two-factor authentication. Even Facebook pages can be hijacked, and figure out how to log into that. And Facebook offers a pretty good two-factor authentication process, and so does most e-commerce platforms. And if you're not using those, I realize that sometimes those can be a hindrance to the way we deal with our customers, but you really should be weighing that out right now. Highly advise that. As far as your e-commerce platform, for years, it should have already been PCI compliant. But this is a time to really analyze this. And the reason why we at Viral Solutions think this is something to bring to your attention as fellow small business owners is that when times get tough, the people who are a little marginal on the ethics and morals tend to look for the easy way out, and you don't want to be one of those. Point 5, let's talk about structure. So a lot of people out there today are freelancers, sole proprietors, white labeled third parties, things of that nature. You should take a look at being in limited liability corporations, partnerships, more of a structured corporate environment if that's possible for your business and your industry and your current setup, because each of these has big advantages to you. Because when you operate as a sole proprietor, that tends to be the default business structure for a one-person business. Just makes it easy. I get that. But those environments, as you get employees and coworkers and other relationships that you might have, that leaves you open in our Sue Happy world for your personal assets. And these corporate structures can help you safeguard that as long as you run your business correctly. So be smart about all of that. Also be smart about new customers, especially if you're in the B2B world. Consider running credit checks. Really, when you're trying to take on a new customer, be thinking on the aspect of, yeah, I'd love to have this sale. I'd love to have this new customer. I need the business. I'm growing my business. Great. But step back and think about your contract. How tight is it? How good is it? What do you think of this person's morals and ethics? Because that usually is the tipping point for where you have tough relationships there. So keep that in mind. Your business insurance. Check on your general liability insurance. If you're providing advice or any professional services to your customer base, you might also need to double check on your liability, what is often referred to as E&O or errors and omissions coverage. So depending upon what state you operate on, you may also be required to have workers' compensation insurance, and those need to be looked into and checked into. And this is Safety Business Owner to Business Owner 101. In the environment of COVID-19, there's also other things that you need to take into consideration. And that's to be prepared to change your business practices if you have to maintain critical operations. So your suppliers, your existing customers, some of those could temporarily suspend operations and put your business in a world of hurt. So evaluate those situations all the time and be on the lookout for how that could impact you. Make sure you've got alternative supply chains for critical goods, critical services, backup. Some goods and services can be in higher demand than others. Some may not be available in a few months. Small business owners should also consider the alternative of other working arrangements or third-party backups to your employees. All right. So in summary, the 5 areas that Viral Solutions leadership believes is important to safeguard your business owner to business owner here, not marketing agency to customer, business owner to business owner. Cash flow and profitability. It's not only your money to save your business from trauma, but it enables you to grow market share through advertising, acquisition of another business at a discount, and to recruit top talent that you may not have been able to recruit before because they might be unemployed. Organizational culture and employees. Again, this is treating your best employees fantastic, all of them fantastic, and maintaining that customer feel that they're responsible for the customer and how that customer feels, and that you're all in this game together, and you've got to keep the business growing because that's where their money comes from. Assets and liabilities, protect them. Don't be a target. Make sure you look at your business, if you have a physical footprint, as a potential target, and don't make it easy for them. All right. Maybe even consider moving, maybe even consider a tighter security level in your business. Information, data, lock in your logo, lock in your slogans, protect your intellectual property, safeguard your passwords, get those things changed more often. Tighten this thing up with logins and stuff. If you've been loose for a while, this is a time to tighten that up. Structure was the 5th thing we talked about. It's just too easy today to be well structured so that you protect your personal assets from somebody who felt you did them wrong in business. And with business failures predicted to be on the increase, there's going to be people looking for that. So seek great legal advice, great accounting advice. Maybe talk to our friends out there at the Small Business Doctor. But anyway, I know you know a lot of this stuff. I just love to have this conversation. I love the fellow small business environment that we all work in. Keep plugging away. You can do this. You can safeguard your business. Now's the time to make sure you're doing it smart. Thank you very much. And I really appreciate you hanging out with us at viralsolutions.net. If we can help you, you find us right here on social media. Got all kinds of forums, web chat, phone number 888-816-1222. If we're on the phone with somebody else, one of our 14 people will get back to you. Thank you very much.